So, how about those SteamOS requirements? They seem pretty reasonable, all things considered.
Oh, God damn it. Where the hell are you supposed to find a 500 gigabyte hard drive for a laptop these days?
Yes. Your spindles are so nasty.
Ah, God damn it, Jordan.
Coming up on this LinuxGameCast Weekly, our live stream goes tits up. SteamOS makes with the working. Garry brings the caveman penis eye, and we have some double news. Then we throw the chairs at Starbound. All this, plus your hate mail. Let's go. And welcome back to another Linux Gamecast Weekly, the show that covers the latest Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and most importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week, that's right, SteamOS drops. Garry gets a bit rusty. What the hell is a zigfrac? And we take a crack at Starbound. But every week, running the boards, that's me, Vin Stone. Evil, dark, Canadian drive-loving nipple. Oh, that's so damn hot. Oh, and from Portugal, with his rage and his giggles, he is a conundrum, a bag of chainsaws if I ever saw one. But before we get started, I do want to play catch up and see what's been going on with everyone this week. Let's go with J-Man.
Well, since trying to stop a stack of hard drives from collapsing because I need to use these later. As I were saying, I've been caulking since SteamOS dropped yesterday. Oh yes, it'll still be yesterday for another 30 minutes. I've been caulking around with getting QEMU to boot it so I can futz around with giving it a PCI pass-through dedicated GPU so I can test stuff on SteamOS without having to actually install it on physical hardware. And after spending a number of hours caulking around with UEFI, someone freaking drops in the show notes, here's how to get it working with Grub, to which I go, So, hopefully I'll have that done by next week and I can tell you my results. Maybe write a little how-to on how to do that. So, Pedro, what were you up to?
Yeah, so I may have a chance at yet another job with Synopsys. Maybe this time they'll actually promptly reply for once. And, well, much like everyone else on the internet right now, I was faffing around with SteamOS. I managed to get it to run, and as soon as it booted the first time, I'm like, oh, fucking GNOME 3. But we'll get to that later. Yeah, that was pretty much it.
Well, over here in Vinland, our ISP finally doubled our download speed without giving us one more kilobyte of upload speed, and that's just impressive to be able to pull that off. So that's some really sweet work, guys. Another thing you might, well, I doubt anyone really will notice, we did get hit by a couple of the YouTube Turbo, fuck you,
Copyright.
That's why, right, copyrights. That thing is stupid aggressive. I'm just going to say, earlier that day I was watching, just catching up on this, and I was like, it can't be that bad. It prompted me to log in, and I was like, oh, well, everything's fine, because, we had a couple of things that matched third-party content, but it was, hey, just say to this, it doesn't count against you, no strikes or anything like that. We're just going to run some ads against it. And I was like, oh, it's fine, I don't care. It was mostly like old after shows and stuff like that. So I went to upload our Signal Ops review, and it said, this video is too long. And I was like, what?
What?
And it was like, you must be verified. And I was like, we've been through this, tubes. All right, send me the verification thing. Call my mobile. Punch in the code. And I was like, yeah. And it's like, oh, you have too many copyright structures. Like, it's for fucking win. Go back, nothing new, same videos, but now they all count against me. And we're talking, literally, man, I'm not joking, like a 2-second audio clip from Sega because we played just a smidgen of the audio from the cave. That counted. And I was like,
Oh, God.
wow, you guys are digging that. And yes, I probably could have fought every one of them because we were reporting on the game. We were even doing gameplay of
It's
it.
fair use.
Beyond fair use. I mean,
Well, I mean, YouTube doesn't recognize fair use anymore.
I could have argued that.
Apparently.
Then again, I could have woke up the next day in YouTube and said, you know what, we just deleted your channel because fuck you. That's why. That's why everything is still available for download at LinuxGameCast.com, where we don't have to worry about that bullshit. Also, want to scream at Shatrealm, the fourth member here. We're kind of running a bit crippled, but thanks to Sleep Beef, Twitch had changed something in the Matrix unbeknownst to me. So I'm running on a very quickly hacked together version of his script to make it work with our system. And it's not optimal, but it's better than nothing. So we're about
It works.
2 hours late.
Yeah.
So, don't we like,
Well, you know what? After we got slapped in the face with YouTube's cockpocalypse copyright, time to whore ourselves out again. So you can check us out at linuxgamecast.com/podcast, where we have RSS feeds for SD video, HD audio, and SD. I just had a brain fart. SD video, SD audio, and HD video. There we go. We got a handy e-stocking guide, Amazon affiliate links. You should click on them. One-time donation buttons if you want to give us some money. You can also give us a recurring $3.50 a month or $10 a month, which will get you on our wall of shame and access to our show notes if you're lucky. You can see the sausage before it gets made. We also have Shatrealm statically linked, our forums where you cannot mention ldconfig, pizza dude. But yes, you can sign up with any account. Twitter, Facebook, all that good stuff. Join in. We have Starbound discussions. We got SteamOS discussions. Lots of good stuff. And since, I don't know, do we still have youtube.com/LinuxGamecast?
for now.
Shocking,
yeah.
all we do. After Cockpocalypse, check out youtube.com/LinuxGamecast, where we're not going to make any money off our videos anymore because reasons. But we got how-tos, players. We got this weekly train wreck. We got Android how-tos, B-reels, all that good stuff. We also have a Facebook page, facebook.com/LinuxGamecast. It's run by Mexicans. You get a free pallet of oranges if you like us. So check that out. We also have our second favorite Kiwi and Ponytastic, reddit.com/r/Linux_gaming. I mean, just look at that. It's so sparkly. You can't look away at all.
Yeah.
But you know what? We got some sparkly stuff for Unity 3 games for you NVIDIA users out there with our weekly PSA. Then why don't you tell them about that?
Well, Pizza Hipster in Shatrealm Static wrote, "This works on games like Serious Sam 3, but I remembered it can work on pretty much any game. Some games might run slower. With it, though, just put this in the launch option of your game and try it for yourself. There's a paste bin link, and it's basically LD preload with LP thread and some optimizations.
LibGL.
Yeah.
Haven't had any issues with this on my 770, but then again,
It's a 770.
yeah.
Optimizations are only going to take you so far on that piece of kit. But for those of you with older cards or less quality cards, maybe you got a laptop, maybe you got an older PC, maybe you got a budget PC, maybe you got one of those cheap Steam boxes. This will help you improve the performance of your games. And we got caveman penises that we're giving away.
We do have a way of give, do we not?
That's right, if I can get it to pull up.
Yeah, we're giving away Rust. We got a
Yep.
couple copies from Garry. So Ven, why don't you tell them about how they could possibly win a copy of this game?
Well, this is pretty simple. In this challenge, you must work mighty hard. Who would win in a fight? The best and worst story will win a copy of Rust Beta. We have 2 copies to give out. Basically, you can take a look at these images, that are all old ones, and decide and tell the story who would win in this most epic of battles. Myself, Pedro, Jordan, and a Thigh Master. So, however this plays
I think
out,
we already have an entry.
We do have an entry from Maddie19. Not quite what we asked for, but it's pretty funny. It got a chuckle out of me.
Yep.
He definitely did some work on that. So, good way to get this started. We will announce the winners next week on the show, hopefully with a better live stream than we currently have.
Hopefully.
So that's a thing, man.
Yeah, it is definitely a thing. You could win a free game, and it's a new one, and it's from the creators of Garry's Mod. So,
Yep.
I guess we should hurry up into this. SteamOS has dropped, and therefore we must drop our horse. Our liquidy, jellified, disgusting ass Steam
Linux!
Update of the week.
And here it is,
So, yeah.
right there from the horse's mouth, repoed on steampower.com/download 2.4 gigagigs.
Or 980 megabytes if you want the tiny installer.
Tiny installer.
Yeah.
So,
Easy
it's a thing. I've already said that I'm going to wait, maybe a week or 2 before I start futzing with it. But you're way ahead of me.
Yeah, I gave it a shot in VirtualBox, got it installed, cocked about with it for about 5 minutes, and it was like, oh, this is just Debian. This is nothing horribly special. Color me unimpressed. But, like, as I said before in the how we're doing catching up segment, I am working on a virtualized Steambox thing. I'll tell you how that goes later. But really, it's just Debian with a newer backported eglibc and 3.10 kernel. That's basically it.
Payment?
And GNOME 3 for... I wonder who the brilliant mind behind GNOME 3 was, because that shit, when it comes to performance, sucks balls. And not just that, you have to have a UEFI enabled PC. You need at least 500 gigabytes of hard drive. Why? It's, again, Debian, basically. And they don't support AMD cards, chips, whatever you want to call them. Nope. No AMD, Intel.
Now I have to interject there for a moment, because it is Debian. You can just install the AMD drivers on top of it.
Yeah, okay, but they said they had optimized it to work with NVIDIA, and they actually include the proprietary drivers for NVIDIA. They don't do it for FGLRX. I can sort of see why,
I wonder
but again,
why.
Yeah.
Shock and awe, Pedro.
Yeah, I
and
feel
awe.
a resounding nope brewing in me from the whole thing.
Strider shared something on chat realm though, because you mentioned you need a UEFI PC, but actually there's a workaround for that. It's on Linux_gaming. There's a link to that in the show notes. Check that out if you have a PC a wee older than a recent one with the UEFI BIOS.
Just a bit.
But in other news, the Steam machines shipped out on the 13th as well. But there's a bit of a hiccup. It turns out, due to international something or other, it's only US beta participants will actually get a Steam machine.
Mm-hmm.
And Pedro is just weeping tears that I'm lapping.
I was
just delicious.
Pissed.
So
was
were a lot of
pissed.
people if you read the comments thread of that blog post. But I mean, you can build your own. These people are mad that they didn't get a free computer. That's the long and short of it.
Also, yes. But, it's from the start, they said that it would be for everyone. They even remember that FAQ they actually put up when the beta sign-up started. It actually said, "I don't live in the US. Will this be a problem?" They said, "No, it won't." And now here it is. Come on, Valve. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I have to state the plain as day fact. You are complaining that you're not getting a free $1,000 computer.
Also, yes.
Just let that sink in for a little bit. All right. Has it sunk in yet?
How about we just move on to another third-party Steam machine? This time around, it's Digital Storm. Their first Steam machine. $1,500.
Yeah, I'm clocking in at 1.4069 gigabytes.
Well, you know what? It is episode 69, so...
I know.
Yep.
This is, it's going to be unveiled at CES 2014, and it's just a big old pile of nope.
Hey, it includes a Titan.
Yeah, but... And?
That's it. That's all we know so far. And a 700-watt power supply.
J-Man, are you going to be rushing out to buy one of these?
No! Why? I can build a computer. I have a computer for this shit. I'm using it right now. I'm talking to you on my Steam box.
It's crazy sauce. I mean, that's really a non-story. So let's just go blow through that and talk about Rusty Trumbo. I mean, just Rust.
Yeah, speaking about cocks,
Yeah.
how about some caveman dicks? And I just love this one post that they have on this page. Rust, by the way, Rust is a survival sandbox game by the creators of Garry's Mod. We're giving copies away of it, by the way. Check out Chat Realm, statically linked, for more details. But I do love this blog post. Censorship update. Valve are cool guys. They let us bring Rust to Steam. They don't try to tell us what we can and can't do in the game. They let us push unapproved updates out whenever we want, as many as we want. They save PC gaming. So it's probably not totally unreasonable for them to ask that we don't flood the rest of Steam. Pictures of caveman cocks. We made a small change today. The censoring is on by default. This is purely to stem the huge wave of naked people being posted on Steam. That later goes on. Over a few more days, there's gonna be some debate about keeping the censorship on and off. I just love the fact that Steam is getting flooded with pictures of caveman dicks. It just makes me happy.
I think it's the first Steam game to actually feature full frontal nudity.
Full frontal male nudity.
Giggity.
Yeah.
Because there is a Steam game called The Void that has some full-on female nudity.
Yeah,
if you
I mean, this is the thing. I mean, it's Rust, it's Minecraft with, well, I'm calling it killing people with that rock simulator.
Yeah, that too.
Been having some fun with that, but there was a genuinely fun moment when I was playing, and one guy typed in, he was like, "This is not about killing people," and I immediately was like, "Well, it is now." And everyone on the server just started killing him every time he respawned. So, I had a bit of fun about this. Let's talk about Eve on a budget.
There's one final thing. The latest patch for Rust, though, has broken Linux support, so you may want to wait a bit if you're going to buy this game.
The latest patch actually fixed the previous patches.
Yeah. Well, apparently I'm out of date with
patch upon patch, but this is Entropy. What is Entropy? Well, the Entropy of the game is an open universe science fiction MMO. It's Eve on a budget. Explore a hostile galaxy filled with over 100 solar systems. That's brilliant. 1999. It's an early access game.
You can pay $100 for
you can pay up to $100 for I think P-Man is
some reason. Yeah, you get an extra ship and you start with a million credits. It's pay to win, basically.
Early access, pay to win. If it's your dice and if you want an Eve-like experience on Linux, check that out, I suppose.
Yeah. And
but now we have
games,
some violets, some purple. Purple Kush.
Some
Ooh.
purple kush.
Ooh, we
Yeah.
have some Violet.
Yeah, this is
So,
like
Violet-
clicky, right?
It's a 2.5D point and click adventure game. What exactly they mean with that, I don't know. I've sent the fine people behind Violet an email. They still have not replied. Forever Entertainment, I'm looking at you. Come on, we want to play your game.
Well, it's only
But-
$7, and you do get a free soundtrack.
Yeah, that is true. So I think that's pretty much it for Steam news this week, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we do
Yeah.
want to mention that Zigfrac is now available.
Oh,
But if you don't know what the hell a Zigfrac is, you're not missing much. But it's there, and if you have the keys from Desura and whatnot, there'll be a link in the notes to where you'll be able to go back and redeem things and all that fun business. But with that bit of a train wreck over, let's uninstall the whole, shall we, J-Man?
Yeah, reinstall back a proper distro that has some decent hardware support.
How about
And
Fundoon?
jerk on over to the news.
And now that we're all running proper Linux distributions once more, it's time for the news. And first up, we have the Mile
No
High.
Life, the simulator.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, if driving a lorry was not boring enough, boy, do we
Try
got the
driving an
game for
Airbus.
you. Now available on Linux, Air Control.
Autopilot, the game.
There's
Yeah.
no way in the bathroom, and I'm not even going to joke about doing anything else other than that because I don't need my house raided again.
Yeah.
Air Control is
But-
a new gen. Whoa, go for that word.
Nugent.
Avia simulator?
Avia simulator. All right, somebody made that shit up, didn't they?
Well, then it obviously needs more gigabytes. So
Needs something.
Obviously.
I mean, this is exactly as advertised.
and it looks like it's cell shaded too.
It.
A little bit, yeah. But
I
you know
don't have
what? I
words to this.
liked.
You know, P-Man, you really should just tell them to throw us some keys because I want to. I actually want to experience that moment right before I feel suicidal, and I think this will actually get me there. J-Man, you got any thoughts on this?
It's on sale for $5. So I mean, if you've ever wanted to drink and fly airplanes, you could go take the $5 you would save, buy some cheap rum.
Yep.
Danger Zone. Yeah, so basically, Danger Zone, the game. That's certainly a thing.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but ROTC Ethernet wants to become open source, and they want $1,500. Hey, Ven, why don't you tell them how they could
Fuck
do
yeah.
that a lot cheaper?
Well, you know, here's one of the things. I mean, this comes from our old friends from Free Gamer, and it's help ROTC Revenge of the Cats Ethernet become fully open source. Now, this was based on the Talk 3D engine, which is kind of, I think they have a reasonable build system for it now, but it's still balls.
Yeah, if Gear Up is evidence to anything, is that Torque 3D is not very good for Linux.
And
Well, we shouldn't be using Gear Up as an example for anything, really.
yeah, we do. That's how you create a game with infinite promise and go nope.
and
yeah.
make it completely unplayable, period. It won't even
But
launch.
yeah, this is Revenge of the Cats though, and they want, like Jordan said, $1,500 to release the source code.
Well, to liberate the game, here's the problem. You don't need money to do that. I wrote in the notes. Why don't you just release the damn source, man?
Yeah.
You know, all right, check this out. No, 1,500? No. Call LGC Consulting. We will. Check
Take
this
your
out.
$1,500 and open source your game.
$1,450. Now, there's for $1,450. We will post it on GitHub for you.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sounds reasonable to me.
I think that's a great deal. You'd be a sucker not to take us up on it.
I know. I mean, they're not LucasArts or anything. I mean, those guys released the source code to the Jedi Knight series, and they didn't ask for any money, but hey, they're not LucasArts.
Also, the LucasArts guys released a whole bunch of shit they really shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is awesome.
I will say this game, I mean, long history. I played it. It's fun. It never really caught on. And it is genuinely a fun game. I mean, it's been a one-man development team behind it. Very Tronish. But, you know, you can never find more than 3 people at a time to play it. And look, rainbows. So
Sparkly.
that's the thing. We'll definitely have a link in the show notes if you want to tend to that. But,
Yes.
J-Man, you got some Double Fine hack and slash here.
Yes. So Double Fine has their game. It's called Hack and Slash. This is part of their Amnesia Fortnite thing where you could pay a bunch of money and get a bunch of prototype games and vote on which ones you wanted them to develop. So, according to this game, it has algorithms. Hey Ven, hey Pedro. What happens when you give Al Gore a guitar? He makes algorithms.
Ooh.
Jordan. Die.
No. But yeah, it's certainly a thing. It's sort of like a puzzly game. They're apparently the HTTP protocol puked on their webpage.
Apparently.
But
Either that or it's a design choice for some reason, because apparently you're an elf.
because you know what? I want to see post data on my blog posts. That's just how it works. But it's going to be released for Windows, Mac, and Linux, and you have to give Double Fine credit for a fairly large-ish publisher. They've been really upfront with the Linux love.
Well, even with the Linux love, I mean, when I hear Double Fine says we're making a Linux port, I go, sold. I'll buy it. Because you know what?
It's just on principle.
Yeah, you're getting a Linux port, unlike some people.
Yep.
We got a big wall of nope from those.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it's
And you know
interesting
what?
because it uses puzzles to sort of bypass some of the
What do we
hack and
know,
slashy
Pedro?
stuff. So I mean, it's an interesting concept.
It's a retro game without the hippie pixel presentation. Gimme. I want to play.
And that's going to
And-
replace the whale in your nightmares.
Pretty
So,
much.
anything else? Yeah.
But I think that about wraps it up. We had another story, but it was kind of a non-story, so we're just going to skip that.
Yeah, well, there was a
Coming
bit of
up
a
next-
hubbub before we get into that. We'll address it. We won't really link to anything. But, you know, there was that bit of the hubbub about Activision, you know, nixing a Linux port, and basically it turned down, you know, the guy from the company who said that knew fuck all what he was talking about, and these guys were like, look, go back and read our actual Kickstarter. And what we said in the forum post, you know, they got back and did some damage control, and it wasn't even damage control. I went back to the Kickstarter Reddit and went, oh, right. Not a story, P-Man.
Yeah, but again, it's the remake for Gabriel Knight. Was kind of a successful series back in the 90s, and it's done in Unity. So they don't port it because they don't want to. Still assholes.
And you know, there's always a good there's never a good reason to not hate on Activision. So, coming up next, they're cubes and in space. Yeah, we're reviewing Starbound.
They got 4 corners. Brilliant. Let's do it. Throw some chairs at them.
Screwing up. That's my favorite thing to do. We're reviewing Starbound from Chucklefish Games. It's $14.99. £13.99 or 2 rhinestones on Steam. The engine's completely custom made in C++, and you can check it out at playstarbound.com. Essentially what it is Terraria in space. And if you've not played Terraria, play Starbound and you'll have essentially played Terraria. So, we have our crazy ass metric that's comprised of lawn chairs, which I'm going to show you right now.
In a moment.
There we are. Chair explanation. We got 1 chair meaning that it's complete shite, 2 chairs meaning that it's 3 chairs meaning it's pretty good, and 4 chairs meaning Pedro is going to go on and on and on about how awesome it is forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. We also have a categories of doom, where we throw these lawn chairs at. We got mixed with the working. How does it work? Does it run well? Does it run without issue under Linux or possibly SteamOS? We got shiny and sounds, which critiques the graphics and the audio design. It's good stuff. Controls is self-explanatory. And our final subjective category is fun. Did we enjoy the game on a personal level? So, Ven, did Starbound make with the working?
Well, I am taking a look right now so I can get just a bit of video up in this business.
Bidding it?
There ain't no video, apparently.
There ain't.
But we'll play it like this.
I'm sure some exist, but YouTube would take us down if we ever showed you it.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Thanks, YouTube. Starbound makes with the working on our current system, which is not SteamOS right now, but it is the most vanilla, formerly vanilla, Ubuntu 12.04 LTS, powered by NVIDIA 770, running the latest beta drivers. At the end of the day, another shot, just trying to get people drunk early in the morning. 4 freaking chairs. What you gotta say, Jay?
4 chairs.
On what?
Makes with the working. That thing that we're talking
The
about
hardware.
currently. Oh,
The
right, yeah, hardware.
Bingo.
Right. I forgot we're doing that now. 670 superclocked, running Fedora or 1080T AMD with 670 superclocked, 16 gigs of RAM, running Fedora 18, soon to be 20 next week probably. But yeah, 4 chairs on that.
And on the calculator with a 5650 HD AMD graphics chip, an Intel 370M at 240 gigahertz, and 8 gigs of RAM, the game runs stupidly well out of the box. 4 chairs, running Aurora 18. Forgot about that one.
Well, considering what we're going to talk about next, performance really isn't an issue, and if it doesn't work on your system, you are probably running some sort of random ass 286. So, next category, shiny and sounds. Ven, I know you absolutely love the art direction of this game.
Art direction, J-Man, the entire time I was thinking about this was, so what MMORPG are we going to review next? Because I know you love them. This encapsulates a lot of stuff I don't like. But for shiny and sounds, man, 3 words, hipster, pixel, graphics, and a soundtrack to back it. Nothing I like about the shiny or sound. I've seen it done better, and I've seen it done worse. But that's like saying that hipster's fixie is better than the other hipster's fixie. End of day, end of story. And don't think I didn't give this a fair shake. I spent 2 hours on this, what I would call a train wreck. I'm just going to give it 1.
Well, I'm not as harsh on this as Ven, but Terraria did it, so it doesn't get any points for originality. The graphics and sound get the job done, but really, they don't do anything beyond the bare minimum. So while it's not vomitous, it's not fantastic 2 chairs.
Yeah. I didn't like I didn't play a lot of the first Terraria, but the music in this one's actually kind of nice. Most of the time, you can't even tell it's there. And the graphics, like Ven and Jordan already said, they're kind of meh. It's Terraria all over again. But it does get a bonus chair for the awesome background noise. They did an awesome job with that. Each planet biome has its own background noise type of deal going on, and it sounds amazing, and it does its job at drawing you in, immersing you in the game. So 3 chairs for me.
Well, that's 2 chairs for Shiny and Sounds. So on to Control. Then, I know you never quite feel it, but were you in control with this?
Unlike this train wreck that we're dealing with tonight, I was actually in control with the game, because as much as I loathe the genre of this mismatch, this is like everything I dislike about a game put into one, but I'll get into that in the fun section. It controls, but the only way I can find reasonably play it was, the clicky things and the right hand. I had to have it in window. 1080p didn't really work unless I had that up there and I was doing that. All that clicky business, but outside of that, I couldn't give it 4 chairs, but the controls worked. They work. Loathing this game as much as I do, I'm going to be fair with that. Yeah, fine, 3 chairs.
The controls are reasonable. I find, nothing horrible. They're responsive enough. I do have a gripe, though, and that's the controls are all over the fucking place when it comes to the keyboard. So it's a bit annoying in that regard. Remember, devs, when you're playing a basic little platformer like this, all the ancillary commands closer to WASD is good. Anything else? Stupid. So I'll give that 3 chairs for controls.
Yeah,
He-Man.
what Jordan said applies only to people who play with WASD. Because if you're like me and you're left-handed, you don't like, to play with WASD. You like to use the directional arrow keys. And guess what? They don't allow you to remap their controls. It's 2013. They don't let you remap the controls. Apparently, they're working on it. I posted a screenshot on the show notes. It'll be available. That they apparently already have that working in the testing builds, but they haven't released it yet. Today is the 14th of December, and it's still not fucking out. One chair.
Today is the 15th of December, actually. So
whatever.
All right, so that's 2 chairs for control. And finally, our subjective category. I know Ven is just gonna espouse the virtues of this game. So Ven, go right ahead.
Always wondered what a colostomy would feel like. I'm guessing like this. The end of it. Here it is. This is 2D Minecraft in space. That's it. The game. That's what you have. But you can travel to different worlds. In space! It's still 2D fucking pixel art hipster Minecraft. That's it. End of story. I have nothing kind to say about this game. 1 chair.
Bam. Well, I will say the game has an interesting premise. A neat little spin on the traditional Minecraft / Terraria tropes. But like those other games, I find I suffer from fatigue after playing it for a while. Because, I don't know, I like sandbox games, but they kind of have to have some sort of point. If you have to make your own point, I get a bit uninterested because I will just go and play something else. I will say that multiplayer is pretty stupid. I realize that this is a beta, but you could at least try and integrate it into the Steam multiplayer.
Yeah, you tried to call me into that.
Yeah. What you gotta
hey,
do...
Hey, baby, come play some multiplayer with me.
There's a Hey, man, I was trying to fucking try that out, but you were all like, no. Anyways, so if you want to actually run a multiplayer server, you can't do it through the game. You have to go to the games folder, and you got to set your LD library path to the games folder, and then run the server application and forward port 2501. Clear that port in your IP tables firewall, or maybe you're using packet filter. I don't know. Maybe you're on BSD because you're crazy. playing Linux games. But when all is said and done, this is mediocre in terms of fun. I didn't hate playing it, but you get bored pretty quickly. I'll give this 2 chairs.
You know, the game was actually fun. I spent nearly 8 hours in one sitting playing it with a couple of guys I met on Twitch TV. Yeah, those guys that are cocking up the live stream right now. Yeah, so 8 hours. I didn't even notice they were gone. But again, the controls didn't let me perform as I would have liked to, because when it came to fighting, the monsters, the inhabitants of the planets you visit, I pretty much died in a matter of seconds. I would like to give this game a better score, but I can't. 1 chair.
So with that, we get 1 chair in the fun category. So sad. Star-crossed, I think not. So, with our categories mixed with working, shiny, and sounds, controls, and fun, tallying all that shit up, we get a 2-chair game. Which, if you go back to our categories of Doom, is may not be your cup of tea, certainly wasn't ours, but then again, you might love it. So, final words, I would say wait until this game goes on sale. Do not pay full price for it because it was like $15. I would say maybe pay $5 for it.
That was kind of what I took away from it. Even if I was into the genre, even listening to you and to the P-Man, I'm like, this has been done before. It's all happened before and it'll all happen again, possibly better. Right. So
actually, I shouldn't sing that, otherwise we'll get taken down.
Yeah, better be careful here on the tubes. It actually physically embodies pretty much everything I loathe about our current indie games, but fetch your dice. It's got all right controls. I'll give it that, P-Man.
No, it really doesn't. It's 2013. There's absolutely zero fucking excuse to release a beta at €14 with no remappable controls. Fuck you guys, seriously.
Yeah, maybe pay only 1 rhinestone for it. So coming up next, your hate mail live on air, because apparently at LGC we have a problem with the unheterosexually inclined.
Heterosexual
or maybe
challenged.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's that time of the week again with your hate mail. And for once, we actually have some hate mail. But before we get to that, this sort of PSA we do every week, because apparently there are some people who still can't freaking read.
French people. Go ahead.
Yep. LinuxGameCast.com. You push that mighty fine contact button on the nav bar up there, and then you give us your name, you give us your email, give us a subject, give us your message, and prove you're smarter than a bot. Unless, of course, you're trying to promote your Indiegogo, Kickstarter, Steam Greenlight, any sort of crowdfunding campaign. Because if you are, have a working Linux prototype. Because if you don't, your contact is going to end up on the hate mail, and we won't even mention your game. Is that fair?
We'll just make fun of you.
That too, but yeah. Your game will go unpromoted. But apparently we have some phobias on the Google
We hate
Pluses.
gay people at Linux Gamecast Weekly.
Yeah,
Yes,
this
we
was
do.
a long time coming, wasn't it?
Giggity.
Eventually.
All right,
it
well,
would
this
have
is
to
Michael
surface.
Curran. This is from our Google Plus. And he says, Ah, insufficient gameness is the badge of shame you have bestowed on Gone Home. I've seen plenty of shitty adventure games and the like with less gameness than Gone Home, gloriously panned for poor controls, weak story, or nonsensical gameplay. Oddly, none of them ever get accused of being bad games for not being games. Only Gone Home! Funny that. Well, there is that.
That was certainly a comment.
Jordan, don't let me slap the cock out of your mouth before we get started on this.
No, please, I insist.
Oh.
Slap the cock out of my mouth.
Badge of shame, we blasted it for being a poor Linux port with 90 minutes of gameplay, 0 replay value, 420 wet, stinky caches. Everyone loved the story on the crew, all right? So, But this is not Linux Story Gamecast as much as P-Man would like it to be.
And here's the thing. The story was all right up until the very end, because I'm of the opinion that you have to look at a story as a whole. And as a whole, Gone Home's story kind of fails due to its non-ending. It sort of has this wonderful build-up. It builds this wonderful atmosphere of what the hell is going on. Things appear to not be as they seem. But in the end, we get some happy, sappy, go fappy, whatever. And it left me completely unsatisfied.
It's a feel-good story.
It's a feel-good story. That's the thing. I say this again and again and again. I am a fan of bittersweet endings because in real life, things don't have happy endings. They don't exist.
No, I keep saying I'm waiting for like Gone Home 2.
Gone Home 2. Gone Homening.
The Homening. No, I just kept waiting after it finished. It was like, and 3 weeks later they reported murdered. Because you got like 2 teens, but no, the whole story aspect, you nailed it, J-Man. You said it's a fucking Scooby-Doo simulator, because I went on and I was like, out of the brilliant things you would do to contact your sister, plant clues over the house as opposed to just leaving a concise fuck-mothering note. The game is flawed on that original fuck-mothering premise. Right there. Pff, Mike, go.
Okay, and now I was going to continue. Additionally, I think this was actually the first adventure game we actually covered on LGC reviews. So and you're saying that we're slapping this non-game logo on it because apparently we hate gay people, but I can tell you this: if we reviewed another game like this, another point-and-click adventure, or it's not even a point-and-click adventure game because at least that is gameplay elements. If there was another meandering, wandery thing like Gone Home, we probably would have had the same complaints about it. In fact, a lot of our gripes with it is that it keeps getting lauded as this terrific achievement in gaming when it's really not. It's just
it really isn't.
These guys struggle to call it a game. I will say I don't apply that not a game label to it. But it's just meandering. It's boring. I get that they're trying to have some emotional hooks in the story, but that's not all you have to make it a game. Interactive stories are one thing, but there's not much interaction in this story.
No,
you just kind of go from point A to point B, listening to these various voice recordings and notes and blah blah.
Yeah,
blah,
it's
blah.
basically Dear Esther without the atmosphere, without the sense of actually being alone. It's a shitty Dear Esther lesbian ripoff. There, I said it. But, going back to Michael's comment, attention whoring aside,
no,
his argument...
Pedro, you hate lesbians now.
Yeah,
apparently. But, attention whoring aside from Michael's part, he may have had a point until a certain game called Beyond Two Souls came around. Because that's another non-game, and one that if it had been on Linux, it would have gotten exactly the same shitty score we gave Gone Home. And while we're talking about David Cage, Here's an example of non-game that's actually good. Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain was pretty damn good. It touched on a lot of subjects.
I got to stop you there for a second. Heavy Rain was very much a game because you had an effect on the entire story. There were branching decisions. There were things that you could do to affect the outcome of the story. Therefore, game.
Yeah. Okay. But again, the presentation was very similar. You had plotline. Granted, you could change a couple of things here and there, but it was a good non-game or game, whatever you want to call it. Gone Home, on the other hand, is a sheet of LGBT propaganda wrapped around a crappy game design, shoddy graphical work, non-existent optimization, and zero fucking reason to resist in the fucking first place.
No. Just hate the gays.
Yeah, apparently.
They're icky. They don't watch the same kind of porn as us. They like people of the same sex and can have fulfilling relationships with them.
I don't even want to think about shit I don't particularly care about one way or the fucking other.
God hates flags.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, yeah, we're doing this a bit tongue-in-cheek. This is kind of a comedy, and if you've ever watched it, if you're not sure, there are some people in chat realm dynamic right now. I'm not going to call them out, but guess what? They watch a bit different porn than I do, and possibly Jordan and most definitely Pedro. So that has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I get the sense that maybe the publishers have Gone Home, the Fulbright company, were kind of leaning on the GLBT angle a bit to make up for the deficiencies in the game.
No, I think
possibly
maybe that was a story, but at the end of the day, they were the ones who sent us the game.
That's true. They actually did send us. Well, they sent us two keys. I had to use the DRM free version.
Yeah. They sent us 3 keys, one of which was already used.
Yes. So
that's just like those people. And by those people, I mean game developers.
By those people, you mean the Fulbright company.
Also, yes.
Yeah.
Well, now it's time for some awkward silence. And perhaps time to cue the music.
Make it so!
Bam! Check us out at linuxgamecast.com/podcast. We got RSS feeds, he's stocking guides, she's stocking guides, and donato buttons for giving us wet, stinky caches. If you are so inclined, if you want to support this anti-gay train that we're on, you can also check out our forums, chat realms, statically linked, linuxgamecast.com/discussions-2. You can sign in with any account and post away. Got Starbound, Razer Sabertooth issues with anyone who's had experience with Razer on Linux. Check that out. Maybe you could help out Linux Nuru. I think it was Linux Nuru was posting that. Also got youtube.com/LinuxGamecast if it still exists. By the time this podcast comes out, you could check out our videos, podcasts, so on and so forth. We got a Facebook page too, where you can spread that hate. Facebook.com/LinuxGamecast. Run by Mexicans, like I said before. Free crate of oranges every time you like us. There's also the subreddit that we occasionally pull crap from. reddit.com/r/Linux_ponies. I'm sorry.
Ponies!
Ponies! It's just pony-tastic. Yeah, check that out. And at the end of the day, so you don't take a shot because I said it, not them. I am Jordan Swung. You can find me at The Burning Fool on Twitter or plus Jordan Swung on Google+.
Hi, I'm Pedro Mateos. You can find me at Unaccounted4 on Twitter or plus Pedro Mateos on Google+.
And I'm also not Pedro Mateos, but I am Vin Stone. At Vin Stone plus Vin Stone on G+, chasing the rainbows. You gotta love them. Honestly.
Gotta.
period. It's me lucky charms.
It's your lucky charm.
So,
You think it'll spill out Lucky Charms?
If I stab him with my knife. Well, that aside.
You know, honestly, let's just throw some victory at the lovely
I-
people.
Xenusexuals. I need to work that into the
Xenusexuals, what are they?
Yes.
Xenusexuals.
I'm a Xenusexual.